All right, here we go. Good afternoon, ladies. Excited to do this one here. Get back in the swing of this. This one won't be that long, 20 or 30 minutes maybe. We'll go down through the stats for the last two tournaments and give some player shout outs within those. And then I've got a handful of things to talk about as a result of what we've been through over the last 2 or 3 weeks. So good stuff. Very proud of our team. Coaches and I have been talking, about how it's just continuing to get harder and harder to put that final roster together. So 2 claps to y'all for doing that. We're going to start with going down through the offensive stats first. All right, leave that there. I think we all clearly know, we've established, we need to be hitting around 325 or 350 to be competitive, and our team batting average in those tournaments ended up being 385. So, hence the record of going 7-4-1 overall. And we're going to talk about that one tie later. So, anyway, back to offense. The batting average, just pretty much going down through the list. I mean, this is pretty good stuff here. Ellie leads at 615. Winner's right behind her at 600. KK's 500. Mendoza, Miranda's at 500. Oh, how cute. You two are both at 500. Catherine's at 429. Mia's at 400. And then there's 5 of y'all that are tied at 333. And then we only have 4 girls that are below 275, So you've heard us speak to, what we wanted out of A-team players in previous videos, when we kind of had the standard that it was 275 above on batting and, 850 and above on defense. So in terms of, our roster, we're starting to look really, really good, be really competitive internally, which is also what we want and what we need. Moving on to on-base percentage. Winter, great job here. These numbers are super duper duper high. And again, it's early, so some of this stuff is not necessarily not true. It's just it's early, so you don't want to get too hyped up about things yet. But this stuff is really, really, really good. Winter is at 733. Miranda's at 692. KK is at 643. Mia's at 625. Ellie's at 625. Lewis is at 556. Catherine and Fry both tying for 500. So great numbers there. The RBI list. This is always pretty cool. KK bringing home the crown there with 8. Okay, great job. Miranda, you're right behind her at 5. The next time we do the shout out, Miranda, you need to work hard to make sure that I call your name out first. And quite frankly, this is exactly what both of you two specifically are supposed to be doing. So 2 claps to y'all there. Catherine, Ellie, and Shay, y'all finished with 4 RBI. So great job. We're pounding the ball, knocking girls around. Well, that's always going to give us a chance to be competitive and stay in the game. And we're off to a really good start. We need to be humble. We need to stay consistent. But to be quite honest with you, we're off to a really, really, really good start. Team offense, team batting average right now is 385 to kind of wrap that up. And everyone, went back down through, everyone has recorded a hit. So 2 claps there as well. Moving down to defense, our overall, if you include that first tournament as well, most of the stats today just include the last 2 tournaments, not the first one. But overall, our fielding percentage on defense is at 670, 870, 869 to be exact. So, we're above the threshold, the model, the standard that we set of 850. And, when you can operate at 850 or higher on defense and have batting averages of 350 or higher, you're going to win games. So we're in that spot right now. So as far as defense for those last 2 tournaments, you know, it's an emergency, baby. 911. I mean, that was our batting average. That is, good Lord, got me all jacked up. That was our fielding percentage, you know, 911. And, you know, there's a few of you players that have a couple mistakes I'll talk to here at the end that, you know, aren't really fielding percentage mistakes. And that average goes up even higher. So 2 claps to, you know, at the end of the day, our defensive efforts. I'm going to roll down through the fielding percentage stats. And then Chloe, I'm gonna make a note to you at the end of that. The fielding percentage list. This is incredible. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 girls all at 1,000. So I actually just went down through and called everybody out because it was, you know, was able to put so many girls in one group. But all those girls there: Catherine, Winter, Emma, Brooklyn, Ellie, Shay, Audrey, and Miranda. Y'all are still at 1,000. So it's early, you know. I'm not going to bring out the total chances and all that kind of stuff yet. It's still early. So, hey, hold on to that 1,000 as long as you can. That's great. Looks good on the stat board, too. Right below that group of thousands is KK coming in at 923. Okay, good job there. Mia and Maddie right below her at 889. Good job. Chloe coming again. Chloe, I got a note for you. Chloe, you're coming in at 842. Lacey coming in at 818. Brinley coming in at 750. That's good, Brinley. Just so you know, we've kind of set a model that our expectation on what y'all's fielding percentage needs to be is 850 and above. And come talk to me if you don't understand all of that. But if you do, that's the number you need to be working towards. Got to be at 850 or above, and you continue to put yourself and make yourself available for that group on Sunday, so to speak. So, and then Fry, you finish up the list at 714. Okay, Fry, don't freak out. Just stay working. You know how it is. It's up, it's down. We got a tournament here, in another week, and you guys know how much one tournament can change your stats. So don't be freaking out. We just talked about it, so we kind of know where we're at and know where to focus all of our attention, so to speak. So that's the fielding percentage. There are and on that note of 850, we have a lot of girls that you just heard there over 850. So that speaks testaments to y'all's hard work and where we're at. And we're going to be hard to beat. We're going to be really, really hard to beat. And you combine that with, the bullpen that we've got, and, man, I like our chances. Chloe, the one thing I'll tell you is this. Sometimes I lose a lot of sleep over these different stats when I see you guys get upset about certain things. And for whatever reason, I was really drilling down into, Chloe, your position, just in terms of trying to help you understand some different things. And one thing I was able to kind of figure out, maybe y'all already know this, and I'm the idiot who's slow or whatever. But Chloe, as a catcher, when you chuck one over third base's head, you get awarded that error, just as if you were playing shortstop and bobble the ball. So if you already know that, cool. The next 10 seconds, you don't even have to listen. But if you hadn't realized that, currently you're at 778 with 6 errors recorded on 27 total chances. So if you take away the 3 overthrows to third on those same 27 total chances, then your real fielding percentage is 900. So understand and know, of course, those are errors. You got credit for them. It's kind of displaying itself right now, in a couple different forms in the stats. But if we really peel that stuff apart, your fielding percentage is still representative of your hard work and all these other things. Now, of course, we've got to figure out a way to cut out, the overthrows. But I just want you to understand at an IQ level kind of where that real fielding percentage is. So anyway, excuse me, moving on. Pitching. I don't know how to really analyze that. Coach Sean and I and the rest of the coaches kind of throw all of this stuff around, when we put it together. And there's not a lot to really carve out and dive into. One thing that I would say is It's early, you know. Catherine, you're doing a great job. I mean, I can name drop all of you, to be honest, because you've all stepped in and done your job. But what I would really challenge y'all to do is just, you know, if you're working, then don't put any pressure on yourself, okay? Let that work for you over time. If you're not working, then get your butt, you know, to work. We're pretty satisfied so far, you know, where the bullpen is. You know, we're going to talk about a few things specifically. Emma, you know, you coming back, Catherine, you know, you being a new part of the team, all that type of stuff. But as a whole, I mean, we're stacked. I feel good about it. So let's just work and kind of let time do its thing. And, you know, not a lot to analyze there. I kind of went down through the stats. You know, y'all got some strikeouts. Y'all got some walks. Of course, some of you girls have more pitches than the other. But, you know, that's just kind of based on experience and performance at the time. So really outside of that, not much to analyze. So that finishes the stats and shout out part of it, if you will. The next few things I'm going to talk about are a range of topics that are, you know, new mandates, their situations or things that, you know, we need to address or I need to address. It is a collective shout out to some girls for just some, you know, outstanding plays kind of in that effort and intensity category. So just know that I put a lot of energy into these shout outs, you know, and I never want for any of this stuff to come across in a manner that is not productive. But what's tough for me is, I shouldn't say it's tough for me, just the tough thing about my job is that sometimes I have to just straight up address issues, you know, and I don't take into consideration feelings and things of that nature because it's not necessary. So, you know, as we work down through some of this stuff, just know and understand, I'm not coming at anybody. I'm just doing my job and addressing these things, you know, and if y'all want to have some more in-depth conversation about this stuff, players or parents, you know my number, call me, text me. We can certainly, you know, do those things. So first off, you know, because we've just finished up stats, I want to talk about that 3-1-1 record. Okay. The first game that we tied, this is for the players, so you guys know, we could have easily won that game. Go back on Game Changer and look at where we were in position on the bottom of that inning. I held girls up. We were not aggressive with small ball. If all I needed to do was score one run, I had the outs. We could have bunted somebody in, but it was a pool play game, you know, so we got to understand that as cool as that record was, 3-1-1, we could have easily won that game. We weren't in killer instinct mode because it was pool play and it was the smoke. Now, hindsight, I wish I would have, right? Because they hammered us. And by the way, they hammered the next team too. But they, you know, we tied them, and it was a result of this. I just simply wanted us to hit that run in so that it felt different. And so I made the decision as a third base coach to hold a girl up and let batters come through and try to get that job done. And we didn't get it done. So it was a lesson for us, or testament to their pitcher, which however you want to look at that. So just know that our record could easily be 4-1, very easily. The next thing is, the stats are starting to look really, really good, by the way, and all the way through. You know, a couple shout-outs there to Mia and Brinley. You know, you guys are making the transition from rec to select, and, you know, you're doing that with grace, grit, and integrity, and, you know, you got to have patience, but you got to be working probably, you know, harder than you've ever had to work before. But, you know, I put some messages out earlier in sequence of these shout-outs. And some of you girls need to be okay and understand that, you know, if you want to be good and stay good, you may have to be taking 1,000 reps, and another girl may only have to be taking 100. And it is what it is. So I think both of you two girls specifically are working really hard. And I'm not leaving anybody out, okay? I'm just notating you two. But I think you two are working really hard and closing gaps. And what you can't see right now, you know, in the midst of everything is y'all are closing the gaps. And, you know, that constant, consistent success is going to be right on the heels of this work. So keep that. Oh, sorry, I dropped the old pen. Keep that up. You know, we notice it. Coaches see it. So great job. Keep focusing on the IQ as well. I think I have this listed somewhere else, but now since I remembered it, and Brindley, we just talked about you. You know, one of the things that I enjoy about you is if you don't have something down and I need to coach you about it or you come to me about it, like there's a genuine interest to learn and understand the reason why. And when you notice that in players, you're going to get extra attention from the coaches, because coaches like coaching girls who want to be engaged and involved and are like seriously trying to understand it. And I remember pulling you aside before that tournament and talking to you about the style of you catching that, but catching pop flies in general. And on the ones that where we're catching the ball on the side of our hand, like you and I went through, this dance and we were talking about it and 3D modeling it and I was giving you everything you needed, right, to make that happen. And saying all that to say this, I got to see you in the game. I don't know if they were back-to-back catches. They may have been back-to-back catches, but the first catch you made, deep right, same thing. You could have easily made like the old Brindley catch where you just lazily put your glove over, but you didn't. I got to see you work your body around that ball. Anyway, it was like angels singing. So great job, Brindley, and to the rest of you all as well. But when coaches take their time, and dance and do all these things to make you try to understand something, there's nothing that makes us feel better than when we see, y'all put that to action and it equals results and success. So great job, Brindley. Next, let's go to I want to discuss, just kind of notate real quick, Emma coming back in general. We thought you did a really good job. You're going to have to remember how to talk to yourself. Not that you did a bad job, but you're going to have to remember, how to kind of ride that emotional roller coaster again as a pitcher. Whether you've done it or not, it's still going to be new to experience. And I just, want to tell you that. Make sure you notate that. That final game in particular, look, the reality is you look good. I mean, the coaches and I talked about how incredibly put together you looked with coming back on such a short notice, and it was phenomenal. Like the velo, the mechanics, and all of those things were there. So not that you are, but don't beat yourself up all about that last game. By the way, they went on and shelled the next team, so it was their day. Like it didn't matter what we did or who we had. And then Audrey Ferguson, your return as well, you did good. I know, you put a lot of pressure on yourself. That's kind of, been something we've had to talk about before, but I really just want to tell you, you got to take it in step. And, Coach Kurt spoke to it last night at practice. At the end of the day, like the sun is still going to come up tomorrow. So you're going to have to take a deep breath. You're going to have to get good at operating. It's going to sound weird, but I need you to give me 100% being 85. That's your new message. And you're going to get what you need out of that, okay? Trust me. But great job on your return. Phenomenal. Ellie, stealing home. First of all, it feels good because I got to see you do it, like right next to you. But what a lot of people don't know and understand about that is, you took the bat out of Winter's hand, and we've laughed about that and whatever else. At the end of the day, she would have been up come the inning flipped again. But what's unique about that is, Blaze parents and players, we brought in a coach named Mike Prinzo, who's, the savant at base running, and he spoke to a lot of those things, trying to be able to pick up in live situations when you can push a delayed steal. And I will say, in Ellie's credit, it was not greed or any of those things, other than she looked at me on the second pitch and said, Dad, I can delayed steal on this girl. She's hot, she's tired, she's dropping her head. The catcher is throwing to her, not very hard. And I said, well, okay, we're kind of in a pretty close situation here. Let me see this over the next 2 or 3 pitches. Long story short, she was right. Boom, ended up doing it. That was phenomenal. At some point, having been able to work that under the pressure of actually stealing home will pay off for us sometime when getting a win is going to be a lot more important, than what happened as a result of her doing that. But when you players can pick up on things that we've coached or brought in coaches to coach and implement those in games, and we get those kind of results, that's phenomenal. Like, that's why we do this. So great job, Ellie. And then kind of wrapping that, this little player shout out here, winner. Everybody knows, I was letting everybody know, I really wanted to win game 3, right? Like, chew your arm off kind of deal. And I want to give you, all of us coaches want to give you credit for, stepping up to the plate, A, getting the win that we probably wanted more than y'all wanted. B, your performance was fantastic. Locked in. That's my new phrase, by the way, lock in. You were dialed in, you were efficient, and ultimately we got the win. So 2 claps. Great job. Moving on to number 4. Catherine, you're kind of getting a special little shout out here because it is a precursor to a message I've got a few bullet points later. But Catherine, it needs to be notated that you didn't get to come in on defense in one of the games and were batting only, and you went 2 for 2. So I don't know how to tell the rest of the girls, and parents and anybody really, that is how you do your job. You don't get frustrated that we're choosing to only use one side of your efforts or the other. You don't choose to maybe not be as engaged as you should because you're not fully, on the field, offense and defense. That was a model for a work ethic. She went 2 for 2, and that's dependability that she's continuing to garner every time she's getting a chance. So there's a message there to everybody. It doesn't matter when your opportunity is. When it presents itself, nail it. So great job, Catherine. Moving along. We're almost done here. Okay, 5 or 10 minutes left. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more things. Dun, 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 dun. Where'd my number 5 go? Ellie, number 5. This is about some of our... We got to understand some different things as a team, and we've now had a few things come up that are starting to frustrate me, whereas, as coaches, we even get it from your parents, right? Like, your parents will sometimes try to suggest certain things to us. Well, and they're going off of based on what they've seen in the game, right? So this is kind of funny and cool. I'm not trying to call anybody out, but parents will be like, I think you really need to work on, like, knowing how to cut off, and like when the ball goes out to right field or deep left gap, who's supposed to be throwing. And I'm just sitting there thinking, yep, you're absolutely right. We probably never discussed this one time in practice. So that's a joke. I'm trying to be sarcastic. But the reality is, Ellie threw from center because she came up on a ball, okay? And outfielders are taught, you better get that thing out of your glove right away. But on the reverse side, when it's coming in, we have said at least 4,982 times that the person who is supposed to be cut off has got to put up their hands, okay? So as I'm chewing Ellie's ass for not doing what she's supposed to do because I was not impressed with the accuracy of her throw. And her response to me was this: Dad, when I got the ball and started coming in hot right before I released, I couldn't tell who I needed to throw to. Why? Because it looked like a sea of red jerseys. I've specifically said that in practice a lot. So there are some things there that we've got to focus in on, because at a certain point in time, minimizing damage is more important than getting that runner that she missed anyway. And Sarah and I argued about it 7 ways from Sunday. Okay, it was a decent throw from right. But what I can't have is that runner on first migrating over to 2 or 3 because, we didn't have a chance to cut and go 2. So anyway, those are the things at this level that we've got to continue to hone in on to minimize getting their runners in their scoring positions, okay? Not mad at anybody. We're just talking about it. And Ellie, you do a good job of taking all of my criticism on the chin. So thank you. There was something else that was tied to that. Where'd it go? All right, moving on. Number 6. Okay. Fry. This is specifically because I felt some weird awkwardness when that girl hit the home run. When we were trying to yell and scream out to you to try to figure out what happened, and you're 300 feet away from us. I'm 3 years old and deaf in my right ear and can't hear very well anyway. And where I'm going with this is, on the way home, Ellie let us know that you thought for a split second we were asking you to cheat about what the result of that play was, okay? And French fry, what I need you to understand there is this. There is absolutely no way ever that we would ask you to cheat. We legitimately needed to know whether or not it hit and bounced out and you just didn't put your hands up, or whether it actually carried far enough to clear, because from our vantage point, 9,000 feet away, you couldn't really tell. And your reaction hadn't necessarily confirmed or denied for us what had happened. So I'm not upset with you at all. But what you need to understand is, as coaches, we just need you guys to communicate, right? I don't care if in the moment, maybe you were holding yourself accountable because you thought you could have got to that ball, and then there was, you thought your coach was trying to weasel out a ground rule double hop out. Look, at the end of the day, we just need to communicate, okay? So this means home run. This means it bounced out, okay? Not mad at you, ever. I love you like a daughter. But I don't ever want someone thinking we are trying to cheat or be a part of any of that type of thought process, okay? So we're done with that. Moving on. No big deal. Almost done. 3 more. Number 7. All right. We gotta, no, I don't want anybody to get offended right now, okay? This one's gonna be rough. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be in your face. It's rooted in a place of love. But players and parents, we have got to absolutely demonstrate the proper behavior in the dugout during games. And there are 2 people in general, a player and a parent, involved in this situation when it happens. Well, that's why I'm speaking to both of y'all. And I'm not trying to be offensive or abrasive, okay? It could be perceived that way, but from the bottom of the heart, I'm not, okay? This is how I talk, and, this is something that has got me a little bit frustrated because I feel like we are past this, okay? That's the easiest way to say it. So you can coddle your kids or your athletes on your own time. When they're on my time and they're in the dugout, coddling athletes between innings or during innings is a violation of our team contract, okay? And there is a waterfall effect to that, okay? A snowball rolling down the mountain getting bigger effect to that. And I am 1,000% authentically sorry if I am being offensive to someone during this call out right here, but that doesn't matter to me because I want to hold tight to our principles and standard that we have agreed upon first, okay? Not thinking about anything else as I'm doing this. This behavior is not acceptable at our level. If it happens again, we will ask you to leave for the day and or possibly the team. That is how serious we prioritize our behavior and environment. We have girls wanting to go to college that do not deserve to be overlooked because a recruiter or coach saw that being displayed and went to give their time to a more appropriate team and setting, okay? We demand grit, resilience, patience, hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Those are the things that we demand as part of our environment, okay? We have no place or recognition for pity and will not recognize, support, or condone that at all. There is zero question to talk about. There's no patience there because the ramification is bigger than whatever you're trying to do in the moment, okay? And there's a league for that. It's called rec. It's not select, and it's certainly not on a team called Blaze that's part of an organization that has one of the most dynamic recruiting agency pieces to it. So I just want to be very clear on this, in that last game, we rotated the girls that were the backups on the bench in as a result of us getting shelled and the game getting out of hand, and then also to reward them for them consistently upholding to the appropriate behavior expectation. So if you didn't make it in the game, it was a direct punishment for not acting the way that you're supposed to be acting, okay? And that's all I want to say about that. I want to move on. So, moving on to, there's a few things here that are all kind of grouped with me getting frustrated with girls just not simply, sorry, I keep putting my hand in front of my mouth, with girls just not simply doing the small things, okay? And we had a couple instances. I'm not name dropping this time because honestly, it doesn't matter. But if you are not in tune enough to know that you got to bring a wristband to you, with you in the box, then you are going to see me have a heart attack, okay? And there was a couple lucky times there where, excuse me, it happened and then girls got some hits or whatever. Trust me, that saved you big time. But what I want to talk to you about in this call out is that, look, it's our only way to have a language without telling the other team what the heck is happening. I don't care if it's Catherine, I don't care if it's KK, I don't care if it's Miranda, okay? There may be some things I need them to do that are outside the normal expectation. And if you're not wearing your wristband, you take that opportunity away from me. So, you're right, you better get a good hit. Double or better, okay? A concept that we talked about a few weeks ago was starting to own your mistakes. I want us to get better at that. I want you to own the mistake, okay? If you're a catcher and you overthrow somebody, own the mistake. If you drop it in the outfield, own the mistake, okay? Again, it does a few things for us. It changes the instant dynamic of all the toxicity that could come out in that situation, right? So own the mistake. Tap the chest, right? It's contagious. Push-ups and sit-ups. I'm going to hound this because I truly believe that some of y'all could be better than you are if you do something that's free and as easy as doing a push-up and a sit-up. I'm not going to harp and hound on this, but you need to be doing those daily. It would take you 20 minutes, okay? 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night. I don't care if you can only do 7 of them in a row, 3 of them, 5 of them, 6 of them, 10 or 15. Do 3 sets of those. And the same with sit-ups. You guys should be doing, 4 sets of sit-ups, putting your feet underneath the couch. I don't care. Do them mini style. Do crunches. Do full extensions. Do elbow over elbow. Do whatever the latest Googled version of the best sit-up is so we preserve, I don't care, preserve our back. But do it. Some of you would experience a lot better results athletically because those things work on your core, okay? So push-ups and sit-ups. I really want you to think about those. And then on the heels of this, working out stuff, I busted Ellie in the mouth with it last night in front of everybody. And I didn't go through the list to triple confirm. I think Lacey may be the only other person on this list. But we have a workout thread on Blaze for you girls. And I am very, very proud of the girls who have consistently been posting their workouts on there. I don't know if that 10 seconds is all you did or not, but I don't care. You're going through the effort. You're there. I trust you. Great job. If you haven't posted to that thread yet, you are starting to frustrate me, okay? I only need you to work out 1 time a week on your own for 30 minutes to an hour, and you're simply going to post those results to that thread. I told Ellie last night, it frustrates me that the head coach's daughter hasn't done it yet because that's an element of leadership. And it ultimately reflects on me. So, and I'll guarantee you, I do not like to be reflected on bad because of someone else's behavior. So, expect her to be posting something here, ASAP. And Lacey, I love you to death, but we have got to get your swing plane dialed in. And I've given you some very specific things to do to start that process. And that is as simple as taking a bat, a stick, a tennis racket, I don't care what it is, a ruler, a wooden ruler, and taking rocks, but you have got to start self-tossing and hitting one-handed, okay? We have to get your swing plane in. I got to get this head from here. I got to get it to here, and I got to get the hand here, okay? And we're missing low and coming up, which means that I have to bunt you every single time. So if you have time, look, don't make me tell your mom. I need you to be given 30 minutes And I don't care, do it out back behind your house, throwing up rocks and hitting it with a piece of 1-inch PVC. I don't care, but we need this to start happening, okay, more regularly. Okay. Brindley, you're not in trouble. But I want to go back and just kind of highlight again, and I'll do it in quick summary. Watching you put into motion, working around the line of that ball, getting your body around that line and catching the ball in the center or to the right side of your body so that we could continue to rotate, catch and go, is music to my ears, okay? And I told you last night, I don't need to talk to everybody about what I talked to you about last night, but remember that message last night, okay? Good things are going to happen. Stay motivated. I just wanted to give you another shout out there because you're starting to put together and see and do all of the things that you've been working for. So, great job. Okay, this is the last thing. We're done. Stay with me. Great job so far. This is meant to be funny, okay? Don't anybody get mad. But, Seth, I just wanted to check in, see how timeout was going. I'm just messing with you. We will probably have some type of adult gummy available at the next tournament for any of y'all parents that need a little artificial seatbelt there. That's a joke, just messing around. All right, so I want to go down through a couple things because of that whole interaction. We went over to the other coach and asked her, first of all, what happened was Fry was running to second, and I don't know how you didn't get obstruction, but Fry was running to second, and it looked like it was like a bang-bang play, whether you were right next to her and stopped or right in front of her and the ball went behind. Anyway, our runner went in front of the defender fielding a ball. And look, every tournament I've ever played in, at a minimum, that would have been visual obstruction, but what it wasn't was physical obstruction. So, and I'm not defending that douchebag or that old guy, whatever, sorry. I'm not defending that guy because, you know, trust me, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what Grandpa was doing trying to come at you through the fence. I mean, like, have you seen our coaching staff? Like, we're going to be fine, you know? So, anyway, but the reason that this is for all you players and parents, the reason that that guy yelled, "Take her out," is because they didn't get obstruction. And he was saying that as a message for his base runner to have done something at a rate significant enough that the umpire would have then classified it as obstruction. So, yes, it's a rookie move. Yes, it comes out of passion. But I just want to tell y'all, you know, kind of why that happened. So, base runners, you got to go behind, you know, and even if you go behind, there's still the chance that we could get called up on visual obstruction, which is a 100% call from the umpire. The other funny thing I got to say about that is, Seth, you know, I had to put myself in timeout for a while and go back and read the books because early on in our career here of all of us coaches, we were playing somewhere in Georgetown in a relatively good team, and one of our girls was running down first base, and the defender was standing on the line going up for the ball. And I screamed out, "Run her over!" Clearly not the thing to have said. But because I did that, I quickly learned and realized, what the rule is, you know, and just to reiterate it for everybody, the rule is that the defender has priority to make the defensive play no matter where they're at. So if they happen to be on the base path or running to the base path, then the runner has to avoid them, period. And if they don't, then it's obstruction and the batter's out. If the base runner is running around the bases and the shortstop is standing in the way or on the bag or whatever, like blocking it for whatever reason, and he or she's not making a play, and we run into him, then we get offensive obstruction because the ding-dong should have got out of the way. So that's just kind of a caveat there. I just want to talk about that. You know, look, at the end of the day, you know, it was a good talkable, teachable for us, you know, and I want everybody to know I'm always an us versus them first, okay? So, again, going back to the size of our coaching staff and all these other things, like, I'm never going to be worried in that capacity. But here's one thing I'll tell you that's been frustrating that I've had to learn personally, okay? When you don't self-regulate, you shrink the size of our strike zone to about a coconut, and you make your daughters at bat about 14 times harder than it needs to be, because that umpire has no other way to, you know, give you one of those than through that girl for the most part. So, you know, I would recommend, again, I'm not trying to dummy this down or talk down to anybody, but one thing that I've learned is a little caveat of where, you know, you still express and display the same emotion because you're frustrated, but you say, you know, holy cow, it was right there, to where it's right on the edge of making it his fault versus just, you know, oh man, we were right there. And look, pool play games, I don't care, man. Let that dude have it, like, get in his skin. But in bracket play games, you know, and like when things are a little bit more serious, you know, just know that it's actually more detrimental than it is positive, although it feels amazing. And don't forget that, you know, you're screwing up your daughter's chance to have a good look if that recruiter sticks around long enough to understand, you know, who's who. So anyway, that was meant to be funny. Seth, I hope you're not still in timeout, although it was funny. I mean, she had him in timeout right away. She wouldn't even let him roll the window down and say bye to me when we were leaving. So good job, Lori. Appreciate that. All right. We have a few more practices before the next tournament, okay? Let's make sure we have high attendance and come ready to get after it. This one on Sunday is going to be out at Sunset Park, just outside of Lago toward Marble. It's on a dirt field, okay? We need dirt reps. It's a little bit longer. It's a 3-hour practice. We'll have plenty of, you know, drinks and snacks and things like that. And I think we might even bring in some pizza or, you know, grill up some burgers or something like that. So come ready to get after it, okay? Love you guys. Bye.